In step 3, we are going to look at the practical day-to-day use of debit cards, credit cards, ATM cards, and personal checks. I'm going to show you what you should do and what you should never do. We'll also look at checking and savings accounts and how to structure your bank accounts the right way. Learning and adopting these skills now will not only make it much easier to eliminate your debt as fast as possible, but these skills are also going to help prevent you from ever getting into debt again in the future. Before we get into those topics, though, we need to address another one. Focus for Payoff has been very carefully designed to unfold in a particular order so that it's extremely effective for you with as little effort on your part as is possible. At this point, your particular situation is important. So here is a question for you. When you pay your bills, can you currently meet the minimum payments on all your debts? It's very important for you to identify your particular situation. Can you currently meet the minimum payments on all of your debts when you pay your bills? Most people pay more than the required minimum payment when they can, but here I am referring to the required minimum payment only. If, when you pay your bills, you have enough money to meet the required minimum payments on time, that's great. I want you to continue through the Focus for Payoff program right through to the end, and you will be reaping the benefits of rapid debt elimination. For others, though, that is not the case. I realize that some of you cannot meet the required minimum payments on all of your debts and also pay for your living expenses. I realize, and you should realize, that you have a financial emergency. It is very serious to be in a position where you cannot meet even your minimum financial obligations. It can be extremely stressful, believe me, I do understand. Also, your credit rating will deteriorate for each month you do not make at least the minimum payments on your debts, and you may begin to face collection actions from your creditors. That just adds to your already high stress level. What I want you to understand is that later in Step 6, we are going to discuss finding sources of cash and then different ways to increase your income. The money that becomes available from using the tools in Step 6 will help you to get current on all of your bills and debts. Then in Step 7, we are going to discuss ways to reduce your living expenses for a short period of time. When you start to reduce your living expenses, even more money will become available. The tools in Steps 6 and 7 are very valuable in helping you get to the point where you can pay the required minimum monthly payment on all your bills and even have money left over. You need to get to this point as soon as possible in order to get the most out of the remainder of this program. The reason I say that has to do with Steps 4 and 5. The tools in Steps 4 and 5 are very powerful and are the real keys to paying off your debt as rapidly as possible. They require, however, that you have enough money to meet your minimum payments and then have some left over. So please keep in mind as you continue through the Focus for Payoff program. In no time at all, you'll become current on all of your bills and debts, and you will be speeding your way toward debt freedom. Okay, with that out of the way, I have another question for you. This question is critical, and it's very important that you address this question with your partner if you have one. Listen, other than for emergencies, can you make a commitment now to yourself and to each other if you have a partner to stop incurring any more debt until your existing debts are paid off up to, but not including your first mortgage? I know that's a mouthful. I'll say it for you one more time. Other than for emergencies, can you make a commitment now to yourself and to each other if you have a partner to stop incurring any more debt until your existing debts are paid off up to, but not including your first mortgage? Do you understand? What I am asking is if you can stop adding any more debt to your current debts while you are paying them off. You see, it will be far more difficult, if not impossible, to ever become debt-free until you at least stop increasing your debt. I'm hoping that you understand this already, but I know that some people have a hard time here. Using credit cards has become so commonplace in our culture that some people cannot even imagine getting through a week without using one. Look, if you can't remember who is on the $20 bill, then it's definitely time to put away the credit cards and visit the bank for a cash withdrawal. It is essential that you get to the point where you can make this commitment to yourself and to your partner if you want to become debt-free in less than 24 months. Focus for Payoff is not a debt management program. Focus for Payoff is a concentrated, powerful debt elimination program that relies on every available resource for the rapid elimination of your debt. If you work against yourself by continuing to use credit cards while you are in debt, then rapid debt elimination is not an option for you. I will help you with several tools that make day-to-day spending easier and more enjoyable than ever before. You do not need to use credit cards for everyday expenses. As soon as you stop, the light at the end of the tunnel will start getting brighter and brighter. When you make the commitment to stop increasing or adding to your debt, you will have reached a milestone. I want you to get there. It's important that we also talk about your banking and how you set up your checking and savings accounts. This is a key area. The way you set up your bank accounts can have a significant effect on your overall finances. I assure you that if you set up your banking properly, it will have a dramatic effect on your debt elimination progress. It's extremely common for individuals and couples to acquire too many bank accounts. I'm going to show you a set of principles for your banking that you should use while you are still in debt. After your debt is paid off, then a different set of principles will apply. After your debt is paid off, you should follow the principles in the recording entitled Financial Partners, Yours, Mine, and Ours. It will be available separately. If you have a spouse or a partner, if you live with someone, or if you share finances with anyone else, then you must give yourself the opportunity to use these principles. They are powerful and empowering. They are a major key to having stress-free household finances, and you'll find yourself talking about money with your partner about once a year rather than every week or every few days. Setting up your bank accounts properly can help to make money a non-issue in your day-to-day life. Imagine that, money as a non-issue. But for now, while you are still in debt, let's take a look at your banking. How many bank accounts do you have? How many different accounts? I want you to make a list of all your bank accounts and write down the current balance in each account. We'll address each type of account that you have. Okay, savings accounts. Do you have any savings accounts on your list? Is there any money in them? If you have a savings account with less than $20 in it, please don't feel alone. We've all done it, and that's okay. But you have no need for an account like that right now. If you have any savings accounts at all, then here is the rule. While you are in debt, you should not have any savings accounts. The reason we open savings accounts in the first place is from a feeling of obligation that we should be saving money. Not that we are saving money, but that we should be saving money. We are not saving money because of all the bills, but someday we will, boy, then that savings account will be full of money. I understand your thinking, but the goal here is simplification. I want your banking to be just as simple and straightforward as possible for a few reasons. First, any money at all that is sitting in that savings account is money we need to pay down your debt. Even if it's not a lot, we need it. What we are doing here is focusing every available resource that we can find onto your debts in a particular way. Every resource is important. There is not one skill or tool in this entire program that will be the whole solution for you. The solution is really a collection of all of your resources, big and small, focused onto your debts. Another reason to close any and all savings accounts is to reduce your mailbox stress. How much fun is it to receive a bank statement for a savings account that has virtually nothing in it? It's not fun at all. It never will be. After your debt is paid off, you can open as many savings accounts as you like, and you'll have the money to fill them too. But for now, do this thing. Close any savings accounts that you have and put that money into your main checking account. If you have a savings account with some real money in it, maybe a few hundred or even a few $1,000s, the same rule applies. Keeping that savings account open while you are in debt is only giving you a false sense of wealth and postponing your debt elimination. A false sense of wealth can cause you to overspend, and it probably already has in the past. It's way too easy to throw something onto a credit card knowing you have enough money to make just the minimum credit card payment. I don't want you to fall into that trap again. You may be keeping that money separate for an emergency fund. Well, you have an emergency. Your debt is your emergency. We need to focus every resource you have for the fastest debt elimination. If another emergency happens to come up, you will have two ways to deal with it. You will have cash available in your pocket from the principals in Step 4, and you will have available credit on one or more credit cards as you start to pay them down. That's one of the best uses for a credit card, to pay for emergency expenses. Later in the program, we'll discuss exactly how to use the funds from a savings account, but for now, transfer them into your main checking account and close that savings account. Another type of savings account is a Christmas Club account. Some people have these accounts where a fixed amount of money goes into the Christmas Club account periodically, with the thinking that come Christmas time, you'll have enough money to buy gifts for others. Here's my thinking on that. First, you should close any Christmas Club account just like you are going to close your other savings account. Stop making deposits into it and transfer that money into your main checking account. Now, certainly you'll be buying holiday gifts for the children who are on your list for this year. What I am hoping, though, is that you will keep those expenses to a minimum and make debt elimination your first priority. For the adults on your holiday shopping list, I want you to consider this. The adults on your holiday shopping list are presumably the people whom you love the most in your whole world. It would also be fair to say that you are probably among the most loved for each of the people on your list. The point is this: if these people, whom you love and who love you, knew about the effects that your debt was having on your life, do you think they would want a gift from you at all? Of course they wouldn't. What they would want is for you to be debt-free and stress-free and happy. That's just what I want for you too. And perhaps that's what you want for them. Find a way to agree with the adults on your holiday shopping list this year that you'll all buy gifts for the children, but maybe the adults can do something different. You'll be amazed at the relief you see on the faces of your friends and family. Many of them have debt too, and the burden of holiday shopping can be overwhelming. Close all of your savings accounts and transfer that money into your main checking account. Now we can talk about your checking accounts. The goal here is also to keep things as simple as possible. After your debt is gone, it will be perfectly appropriate for every adult in the house to have his or her own checking account. As a matter of fact, that is preferred, but only after your debt is gone. For now, while you have debt, it is important to have only one checking account. Only one checking account. This should be a joint account if you have a partner and you are paying off your debts together. You should close extra checking accounts for some of the same reasons that you should close all savings accounts. Any money at all that is sitting in an extra checking account is money we need to pay down your debt. Even if it's not a lot, we need it. What we are doing here is focusing every available resource that we can find onto your debts in a particular way. Every resource is important. Does that sound familiar? Another reason to close any extra checking accounts is to once again reduce your mailbox stress. The fewer statements you receive each month, the better. We are shooting for one here. Just one bank statement per month for your main checking account. You may think that simplifying your banking is a small step, but I assure you that it's not. Focus for Payoff is a combination of sound financial principles and principles that will improve your habits, the psychological part of money and spending. A very important psychological trait here is how you perceive your choices every day when you go out into the world. When you line your mind with several savings accounts, several checking accounts, several credit cards, a debit card, and a checkbook, well, it just seems like you can have it all, doesn't it? But that's not the case. You cannot have everything you want just because you have all of these buying tools. By reducing your banking to just one account while you are in debt, you will be planting a new seed in your mind. It only takes a few weeks to take effect, but the result you will soon experience is that you will have a clearer perception of what your choices really are. That's what I want for you here. I want you to have the clearest perception possible of what your actual choices are. You have one bank account with money in it that is there for a purpose that you chose. If you can do this thing with your banking, you will be taking another step toward debt freedom and a new, better way of thinking. Keep in mind that there are a few possible exceptions to the one checking account rule. One possible exception is that you may need to maintain a separate checking account for your real estate property taxes. If you own your home and pay your own real estate property taxes directly, then you should be careful to keep that money available. In other words, your mortgage company may not pay your property taxes from an escrow account. If you pay your property taxes directly, then it is very important to keep that money separate from your other money. What you should do is figure out how much your property taxes will cost you for an entire year, and then divide that amount by the number of pay periods you have in your job. Have that amount directly deposited from your pay into the property tax checking account every pay period. I'll give you an example. Let's assume that your real estate property taxes total $4,000 per year. Let's also assume that you are paid every 2 weeks at your job. $4,000 divided by 26 pay periods equals $154 per pay period. You should have $154 directly deposited from your pay into your property tax checking account. Even though your property taxes will come due in different months for different amounts, you should still do this. After 1 or 2 billing cycles, you will always have enough money in your property tax account to cover what comes due. Another possible exception to the one checking account rule is for a business account. If you are self-employed or if you have a side business of some sort, then it's okay to maintain a separate checking account for business purposes. The one checking account rule applies to personal checking accounts, not to business accounts. Another important part of your banking setup has to do with your take-home pay and how it gets into your checking account. Direct deposit payroll is very common these days, and I hope you are taking advantage of it. Direct deposit payroll allows your employer to put your pay right into your checking account. That is far better than your employer cutting a paper check, finding you, giving you the check, you going to the bank, waiting in line at the bank, and then cashing or depositing your check. Using all that time just for banking every week or two is a waste of valuable time. Another benefit of direct deposit payroll is that in most cases your pay will be in your account the night before payday. You get your money earlier, and you won't have to waste all that time at the bank. Sign up for direct deposit payroll with your employer, and if for any reason your employer doesn't offer direct deposit payroll, then see if you can work with your employer to get that put in place for all the employees at your company. It's not expensive to have, and it will save time and money for your employer too.